Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to another episode of Apologists, Ace Attorney. In the last episode, we kind of finished up the past. We talked to Valent, Drew Misham, Vera Misham, and yeah, there were some things. Thalassa was killed in Zach and Valent's quick draw shoot 'em like a practice, and they don't know who did it, so that's kind of like the whole like blackmail thing regarding like you cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why. And now we have to kind of solve the present day, because now we have all the information from the past. Now it's time to kind of tie all the loose ends together. So let's get going. Drew Studio. To find that reporter. Present day Drew Studio. Huh? Well, what do we have here? Remember me? Of course I remember you! Journalist meets ex-attorney in bar, end quote. Can I ask what you're doing here? Mr. Misham was poisoned and his daughters... Oh, yes, I know. Oh, how I know, yes. It's caused me no end of grief, to be honest. Journalist wishes he tracked down case just a little quicker, end quote. Were you on the trail of the case this whole time? Zach Gramery was a good friend. Zach said something to that effect back at the Borscht Bowl Club. What a character! What a man! If a little, no, a lot, no, extremely rough around the edges. Do you think I could ask you a few questions? Oh, you serious? I mean, I'm usually the interviewer, not interviewee. A journalist asks questions, not the other way around, end quote. Fine, shoot, I don't care. People have been asking me all sorts of things lately. It was tragic what happened to Drew Misham and his daughter. Forgery is a serious crime, and they pay the price. You know, it really did him in though, don't you? Yes, a forged diary page. The night I interviewed. Him. Sorry. I found out something about Mr. Misham I hadn't known. What's that? You know, he always felt like he was being watched. Every day for 7 years. Walls have ears, potatoes have eyes, end quote. Being watched? You mean he felt guilty? No, I'm not talking about feelings here. You know, I felt watched too. The whole time I've been on this case, no less. Journalist gets tingling sensation on back of neck, freaks out, end quote. Because you felt guilty? Why would I feel guilty? You felt like you were being watched, huh? I wonder what it all means. Drew Misham felt like he was being watched. And you along with him. You sure it wasn't just nerves? Nerves? No, it's nothing so mundane. I stopped paying attention to my nerves a long time ago. But I felt it too! Journalist sure as he is being watched, end quote. Don't you wonder why Zach got rubbed out after 7 years? Right after coming into contact with me? He completely vanishes from that courtroom. Then for 7 years he talks to no one, not a soul. Then just as the remaining time was almost up, he contacts me in order to have this made. And then he dies. Starting to put the pieces together, are we? And you were being watched this whole time? Maybe not just me. Maybe you were too. Me? I met Zach through that case, actually. You mean the shooting of Magnifi Gramery? No, before that. It's not widely known. You mean the accident? During the quick draw shoot 'em practice? My, you're well informed! You should have seen me back then. I dug out quite the scoop. I wanted it all. Money, fame, women, a little puppy, all for me. I was younger then, and my days and nights smelled of fresher mint than they do now. Valent Gramery did mention one particularly nosy reporter. In fact, I was on close speaking terms with Magnifi Gramery at the time. I knew his daughter too, of course. Thalassa, was it? Really? Then Thalassa disappeared, quite suddenly at that, and Magnifi wouldn't say a word about it. Yeah, my evil habit got the better of me. Journalist catches scent of a scoop, goes on a feeding frenzy, end quote. I set up a one-on-one interview with Thalassa's husband, see? Zach Gramery. Something strange was in the air over at Troop Gramery in those days. The whole screwy mentor controlling disciples scene had started by then, I'm guessing. Thalassa, she was part of it all, right? Come on, you can tell me! On the record! Sorry, I don't know. Anyway, I kept prying and eventually became friends with Zach. Sure, he punched me once or twice, or 5 times, but over time he came to see me as his confidant. He's been waiting this whole time. 7 years, eh? Waiting? For his big comeback, of course. A big revival of the Magnifique miracle. Of course it was all a dream. Because of this. The performance rights. In the absence of any official documents, he was golden. Who's to say the old man didn't give his rights to both Zack and Valent? So, Valent waited until Zack died. Legally, at least. The time finally comes and Valent's like a kid on Christmas morning. He's getting ready for his show at the Sunshine Coliseum, you know? If that document sees the legal light of day, it's gonna put a bit of a damper on the big show. He's a sorry one, that Valent Grammary. Lost out to his partner at work, and in love too. Love? It's the same old story, really. 2 disciples, and their mentor's only daughter. What has 3 sides, all of them pointy? A love triangle. That is pretty classic. When you're in a performing troupe, that's your world. It's like a family. One with an entire high school is where the drama, intrigue, and backstabbing. And in the middle of all this, Thalassa has Trucy. And then she dies. I need to find out more about this Thalassa. Mr. Brushel, do you know this person? Do I know that person? Of course! I was friends with Zack after all. He hit me a few times. 5 times, actually. But still, I'd never forget his wife. Thalassa Grammary. Magnifique Grammary's only daughter. Do you think you could tell me more about her? Well, why the heck not? So, Thalassa married Zack and had Trucy, see? It was her second marriage, actually. You mean she was divorced? I hadn't heard this one before. Not quite. Her late husband was a performer, too. He died in an accident on stage. Tragic, really. They had only been married 1 year. I didn't know. Ah, but she was a beauty. I still carry a portrait photo of her around, you know? I know Drucy since she was a little thing, too. She got the better deal, really. She's got you for family, after all. What do you mean? Just reminiscing, you know? Thalassa has another child besides Trucy. End quote. What? But Trucy said she was an only child. Ah, yes, this one she had with her previous husband. Her previous husband? Her first husband who died on stage? Yep, they had themselves a kid. Another orphan now. That's another one who slipped through the cracks. No idea where they are now. Thalassa had another child? Do you think I could borrow that photo? Sure, I can be generous on occasion, you know? I won't need this locket anymore. Better return it to Trucy before I forget. People and events all get tangled together and get bigger and bigger, don't you think? I was too busy wondering about bigger to listen to what you were saying. Sometimes you just gotta accept that you won't be able to untangle it all, I think. Maybe so, but still. I have to do what I can. And I have to tell what I find to those who come next. Next, you say? I'm not the one who will close the curtain on this little play. Apparently, that's not my role anymore. Magnifique. I was just wondering what Magnifique would think of all this. What do you mean? Haven't you seen in Trucy? She's got this power. You mean how I can't lie to Trucy? It was the same thing with Magnifique. And with his daughter, Thalassa. It's a strange thing. You think it's some Grammary gene? Magnifique told me once, back when Zack married Thalassa. He said Zack had good eyes, but not good like a Grammary's eyes, not that good. I wonder if Zack ever played a game of poker with his wife. Who knows what the Grammary's secret was? Maybe nobody, now that Zack's gone. Zack Grammary. The plot had finally begun to reveal itself. It sprouted from a warp in the Grammary fabric, and grew, swallowing everything, wrapping itself around the Grammary's power. A power which passed from Magnifique Grammary to Thalassa to the next generation, and I would once again need to meet. The one who bridged it all together. Is Drew Studio done? We're done. The one who tied it all together, Bush Bowl Club? I mean, I don't really know what to do here, but... Mr. Zack, could you tell me about this? Mr. Wright, we meet for the first time in 7 years and you offer me this? Please. It wasn't a present. This guy's a hard sell. Probably won't get a rise out of him unless I show him something real interesting. Whew. Let's see. I have to know more about this power of Trucy's. It's like she can see right into people's minds. The first time I saw her do it, it blew mine. And after you were done having your mind blown, you took her to play cards with you. Gotta use the resources at hand, I always say. Yet I myself have no such power. But Trucy does. Why's that? Maybe Trucy got her power from her mother. The Lhasa Gramarye? I will not speak of that. The Lhasa is officially missing, correct? And I think I know why you don't want to talk about her. The three of you were a team once. Not that the entire country doesn't already know this. At your peak, you were the biggest stars around. Yet, there's another story behind the fame, one that not many know. The Lhasa lost her life during a rehearsal. To you and Valiant Gramarye's bullets. It was an accident! It wasn't me! How could I shoot my dear Thalassa? I'm sure Valiant would say the same thing. Why, it's just like another murder I might mention. Damn you! Her eyes. I loved Thalassa's eyes. To think they could read my mind was frightening. Yet there was a warmth in them that felt like an embrace. She's dead, and Magnifi Gramarye has joined her. So the only one with her power left now is Trucy? Mr. Zack? I do not know. I don't need any power to see through that one, buddy. So there's someone else. Someone other than Trucy. Someone who inherited the Lhasa's power. Ha! Ha! How would I know? My chances are slim. Would take a miracle to learn the truth. Or maybe one has already occurred. There's someone else with the power, and I know who. This boy? His name is... I forget. Something weird. Who could he be? An attorney. Attorney? I noticed him when I went to visit a friend's law offices. So, what are we to make of this, so great ex-attorney? You can show me pictures of strange boys all you like, but you could at least say something like, I'm this boy, I could use a laugh. Perhaps you wouldn't laugh if you knew the facts. This might not be 100% proof, but it's close. There's a link between this boy and Thalassa. Actually, it's more of a ring. A ring? Perhaps this'll refresh your memory. I just so happen to have evidence showing this missing link. Actually, I know something. Your marriage to Thalassa was her second. How did you know this? Her first husband. He died a year after they were wed, yes? He was a performer. They met when he joined us Gramarys as a guest on our show. After Thalassa wed him, she left the troupe for a while. And you say she had a child then? I have a photograph of her here. I couldn't help but notice what she was wearing when I first saw this. Those bracelets stand out. They are a Gramarye family heirloom. This boy wears a bracelet just like the ones in the picture. What? So, that's why. Why what, Mr. Zack? I took this photograph of Thalassa before she left us. When she returned, she wore only one bracelet. I bet I know where that other one went. She gave it to this boy. Her son. My heart stopped. My heart stopped. This strange power, I myself do not know from where it comes. Yet the fact is that it is passed down the Grammary line. It runs in their veins. What is it? I asked her, the Lhasa, once. This is what she told me. Her power responds to tension in others. Tension? If she were to face a person and they become tense, even slightly, then she would know, no matter how hard they tried to hide it from her. So she could see it? Not quite. This is the strangest part of it all. She wouldn't realize that she was subconsciously detecting this tension without the use of a particular object, or in this case, her objects. Objects? Wait, were they something she wore? Yes, her bracelets. I admit the first time I saw one of those I felt there was more to it than just fashion. What kind of power could a bracelet have? I have made a decision. I will tell you all I know. Consider it a gift. Well, I hardly need you to tell me at this point, but those two are brother and sister, yes. And the brother, too, has this power of theirs. So Trucy has an older brother. I wonder what'll come of that. Mr. Wright, tonight after our game is done, I will return to a life of hiding. I would not see her live her life without knowing. I understand. I'll tell the two of them sometime. I'll tell the two of them when the time is right. I am in your debt, once again. No kidding. What I want to know is how all this got to be so messed up. Those bracelets are made of a special alloy. It is said to expand and shrink very slightly in response to body warmth. So they're temperature sensitive or something. Yes. This is how they can shrink to the exact size of their wearer's wrist. And this has something to do with the power? What have I told you? The Grammary power reacts to tension in others. When a Grammary senses tension, they too become tense. And this tension translates into minute contractions of the muscles. So minute, sorry. So minute, they cannot sense it on their own. Their muscles? Oh, so that's what the bracelets are for. With a bracelet on, one can sense these contractions, because the bracelet is always a perfect fit. So when the person they're watching gets tense, the bracelet feels tighter on their wrist. Precisely. But that alone doesn't really count as mind reading. I believe I understand how the process works from there. It's a simple question of eyesight. Eyesight? I guess that sounds simple enough. Have you heard of kinetic vision? Something about the ability to see moving objects with full clarity, right? I've heard of it before. They say athletes can see a moving ball like it was stopped, if they focus. Oh, but it's not confined to sports alone. It all relies on the ability to focus. When we focus, we can see many things. The faintest twitch of the face, and the meaning that lies behind it. Therein lies one of the secrets of magic. One must know the mind of a crowd before one may distract it. So, basically what you're saying is, the Grammaries can see really well? For them, seeing is more than believing. It is knowing. Their power relies on eyesight combined with exceptional focus. Things are starting to come into focus for me, too. Of course, it is difficult to maintain such levels of focus for any length of time. But what if someone could tell you when to focus? Or something? Precisely. But wait, Trucy doesn't have any bracelets. You were talking about poker, yes? The timing of when to focus is so elementary, she probably does it without thinking. I doubt Trucy herself has realized this. That is all I know of things Grammary. Thank you, Mr. Zack. If this boy's bracelet is the real thing, then he will use it before long, thereby awakening his power. I'll keep that in mind. Well, shall we play a game? I've said so much. Let me say one more thing. I will tell you of that night. That night? The night my mentor, Magnifi Grammary, passed from this world to the next. There were 2 pistols, and 2 letters sent. This was Magnifi's test. A test. In his last years, Magnifi Grammary worked us to the bone. No, to the pain. But that night, I could not shoot him, so I shot the clown's forehead instead. This, it seems, was the correct answer. Take this. I give my art to you, Zack. What? It is thanks for playing along with my show. You shot well tonight, Zack. Though I would not have minded dying by your hand. How could I shoot you? You're my mentor. Ah, I thought you might say that. If I went home without shooting anything, what would you have done then? Then, of course, I would have given Valent this chance. And if I had shot you in the forehead instead, then it would be over. If you or Valent were to shoot me in the head, then I to the darkness would go, and my art with me. A fitting end, don't you think? Ah. Yet this ending, too, gives me no cause for regret. I thank you, Zack. And I'm sorry. I have done much that was wrong in my day. It seems to me that Magnify wanted you to be his successor all along. That's why the time he gave you was earlier than Valent's. Perhaps, but it is not something we will ever know for sure now. I wonder, what is Valent up to these days? Waiting for you to die. If 7 years pass like this, the performance rights go to him. Ah. And now here I am, and his dream is ended. It's worse than that, actually. Public opinion's a fickle thing, you know. What? You don't mean to tell me they put the blame for our mentor's death on him? The trial ended when you vanished, Mr. Zack. There were even rumors that Valent had helped you pull it off. But that's madness! Well, it seems that before I can once again disappear from this world, I have one more act to perform. Isn't it odd that sorting out my life should prove so complicated, even though I'm dead? That night, Zack Gramery was killed. He died as Shady Smith, a mysterious traveler with a mysterious past. But he left one thing behind before he parted. This. His confession. To use as I saw fit. Of course, he'd killed no one. This was his way of tying up loose ends with his old partner, Valent Gramery. Present day Sunshine Coliseum. Well, this is a blast from the distant past. Long time no see, Mr. Valent. 7 years has it been. Frankly, I didn't think I'd ever see you again. Actually, I came because there's something I want to ask you. I've spoken to the press. I've nothing more to say. I've spoken to a lot of people myself, and come to some conclusions. But then I realized I needed to hear it from you. I have walked a difficult road these past 7 years. Because you couldn't perform Manaphy's repertoire? Do not be deceived. Valent's skill is the real deal. I do not require my mentor's hand-me-downs. No, it was my partner who slowed me on my way. Zack Gramery. His rather well-performed disappearing act 7 years ago was the end. Or so I thought. Zack Gramery murdered our mentor, and fled to escape punishment for his crime. You said something to that effect 7 years ago, didn't you? I remember it as if it were only yesterday. Yet, that was not the way of it in the end. For a while he vanished. The suspicious person upon my own person never did. His partner Zack vanished to protect him. That's what those thieving magpies of a press said. I had no idea. Yet that very same press comes to me now, feigning interest. They cover the greatest magician show in history as if it were a vaudeville and distraction. And here I must stand, smiling at them all. What am I, if not a player of some fiendish farce? Might I suggest it's because you never made it clear what happened? Magnify's death is still a mystery to this day. Which is why I came here to get the answer from you. Alright. You asked for it. I knew I'd be seeing these sooner or later. The audience has no business stepping upon the stage. They must be content to sit and stare at the spotlight. That sounds an awful lot like something I heard 7 years ago. Ask what you will, you'll get nothing from me. I'm as much of a part of this affair as you are now. I have to know what happened. For 7 long years, I have endured. Now, finally, the curtain lifts on my new golden age. All the miracles of our troupe within my grasp. Sorry to do this, Valant, but right now I need answers. I think I'll start by dropping a bomb. That should shake things up. Valant, I wouldn't be so sure about those miracles. Not as long as I have this. Ugh, is it the rites or the confession? And what might that be? I see it bears the Grammary seal. I should have brought this to your attention sooner, but I didn't imagine you'd be planning your comeback quite so fast. What is this? A document showing the true recipient of the performance rights to Manaphy's miracles. What? Zach Grammary? He wrote this? What? He passed everything to his daughter? Trucy and Nigmar. Actually, she's officially my daughter these days. Preposterous! Zach is gone! Vanished into the void! This is the genuine article. Zach was alive when he wrote this. Both myself and the notary can testify to this. Why does fate toy with me so? Why was my life be lived in thrall to the dead? You're not the only one with that problem. But he shot Manaphy. Yes, it was Zach. It was. And then he left. And my career as a magician fell into darkness. Did you think there might be some way out of it? Say, if you could prove Zach Grammary shot Manaphy? Was that why you testified? Yes, my way out. It should have been my way out. Well, it might not be too late, Mr. Valant. All you need is a way to prove your case. Who really killed Manaphy Grammary? I believe I have the answer to your prayers right here. Zach Grammary wrote one more thing before passing on. This is a confession! In which he admits to the killing of Manaphy Grammary. See? All according to your plan. I am a magician by trade. Deception is my life's work. I fool the audience, give them a fleeting dream. Yet it seems the tables have turned. Now I am the audience, believing in the deceptions I have brought upon myself. Zach wrote this right in front of me. After I explained your situation to him. Alakazam! You do know that this confession is nothing but lies. Yes, it's my opinion that Zach Grammary killed no one. Then you must be thinking the truth is a simple matter of elimination. 2 received instructions to kill, but if one is innocent, then the one who remains is guilty. That would be the logical conclusion, yes. So he vanished to protect me, his partner. A stirring tale, 'tis true. Did you shoot Manaphy Grammary in the forehead? If I had and I told you, what would you do? Run to the police, perchance? Do as you will. There is nothing left for me now. It is true, after all. I have little talent. I needed my mentor Manaphy's repertoire. It was as if a little demon grabbed hold of me. I knew it. So Valant Grammary did kill the great Manaphy. Sorry, Mr. Wright. But it was not I who shot my mentor. What? But if it wasn't you, then who was it? And there wasn't another disciple, was there? Another disciple? Such as, I don't know, Knack and Talent Grammary, perhaps? Your wild fancies couldn't be further from the truth. Only Zach and Valant received those threatening letters. But there was another. One more person could have fired that pistol that night. I don't suppose you've figured it out by now? If it wasn't Zack or Valent who shot Magnify, then it had to be the only other person at the scene, which means... Wait, you don't mean... Yes, the great Magnify himself. So Magnify Grammary committed suicide? You find it hard to believe? To be honest, I hadn't even imagined it as a possibility. When I arrived that night, the old man was still alive. He appeared to be asleep. I could not shoot him. But when I turned and made to leave the room, the old man called out to me. So you spoke with Magnify Grammary? Yes, and this is why I knew what he had done. Magnify transferred the rights of his repertoire to my partner, Zack Grammary, not me. I see. Then I guess I owe you an apology. I always thought you were the one who did it. You owe me no apology. Huh? My crime was, in a way, more serious than that of murder. What? Your crime? Is Valent Grammary confessing something to me? What could be more serious than murder? You see, I knew that 2 letters had been sent. There were no secrets between partners. It was easy to find out. That was when I understood Magnify's plan. He wanted to die by one of your hands? Little did I expect that it had anything to do with the rights to his repertoire. That was when I heard it. The little demon whispering inside my heart. The demon. Let me confess, I had intended to shoot Magnify. Then, I planned on framing my partner for the crime. What? That night, I prepared something before going to Magnify's hospital room. Which was... IV fluid, of course. I'd seen it on an earlier visit. If Zack did not shoot, I would do the deed. Then, I would use the IV liquid to place the murder on his hands. That was my plan. But you didn't shoot him. I could not. The demon in my heart fled when the moment came. But then Magnify called me back. I'm sorry, Valent. I'm giving my magic to Zack, not you. You still lack the draw he has. Please, help him if you can. I left the room, and then I stopped. The shock of what I had just been told consumed me. That is when I heard that fateful gunshot. Magnify Grammary killing himself. Then the demon awoke anew within me. Zack killed him. He was the one. Frame him, and the magic will be yours. I altered the scene of his suicide. I took the pistol from his hand and wiped off the prints. Then I used the syringe to add the IV liquid I'd bought. So in the end, things happened pretty much as planned. Magnify died, and you framed Zack for his murder. As planned indeed. Of course, the outcome was somewhat different than I had anticipated. Well, what do you think? Do you believe my story? Can it be believed? Truly? That was 7 years ago. I don't know what to believe, but... Yes? I'm glad I heard it from you, Mr. Valent. Thank you. It is I who should be thanking you, Mr. Wright. Only when I had lost everything I could make my decision. Could I make my decision? You're gonna turn yourself in? My partner may have vanished, but not so my guilt. And as my guilt stays, all else begins to leave me. My friends, my performance rights, my magic. I've had enough of vanishing acts. I understand. I thought my life was ruled by a dead man. But I find I was wrong. For Zack Grammary was alive. Well, not anymore. And now, it occurs to me, what if he was not the only one who survived? What do you mean? You see, now that I think about it, I realize that no, we never saw proof of her demise. We never saw her body. Her? The mind races and the mouth flaps on. My apologies. Forget this matter. I can only hope that the day will come when I can again meet my partner, Zack Grammary. Then, I shall apologize for my terrible mistake. I'm glad we had this chance to talk. Thank you. Zach Gramery, Shady Smith, whichever name you prefer, he's no longer with us. The truth revealed in that trial was only a sliver, and the impenetrable darkness that remained has taken another life. I knew what I'd have to do to push back the darkness for good, and it would involve paying that man a visit. Kristoff. There's only one left. Sorry, sir. Prisoner Kristoff Gavin is currently occupied. I see. Do you know when he'll be finished? Well... Could you go find out? Certainly, sir. Please wait here a moment. My apologies to the guard, but there's something I need to see. What the hell is that? There it is. The yellow envelope. And the sender is... Drew Misham! I was right! When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Misham was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. It was a yellow envelope. I heard it was left at the crime scene. If this is the last letter that Drew Misham wrote, then there's something I need to do. The last thing I need to do, in fact. Here goes! Let's see if this atraquinine spray finds anything. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's what I had to do. So this was Drew Misham's messenger of death. It was the stamp, all right. No mistaking it. And his last letter was sent to Kristoff Gavin. Gotcha. Finally. Decisive evidence. What's this? A burglar? In jail? Gavin! I didn't know you moonlighted in larceny, right? Gavin, there's something I had to ask you. Can I steal your stuff? The answer is no. My apologies, but there's not much I care to discuss. Vera Misham hasn't received her verdict yet. You follow me, Gavin? There are no known survivors of atraquinine poisoning, but it never hurts to hope. Okay, I'll be leaving now then. Right. Wait. Yeah, Gavin? Would you mind leaving that letter? It's private. Oh, sorry. Forgot I had it. Many thanks. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh! We've now seen all the clues in this case. Clues I gathered over 7 long years. Now it is time. Every story has an ending. We've come to the final chapter, the final trial. Find the truth. You're the only ones who can. Okay. Final trial. Final trial. All right. Well, that is it for this episode. I'll see you guys for the final trial. Roll the end card.
Objection! You haven't hit like and subscribe yet. Hold it! You forgot to ring the bell to get notified whenever I upload. Take that! Click here to watch more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye!